Right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the last session of how to configure Salesforce. Before we proceed, I would like to plug that we just ended our social studio masterclass yesterday. The Service Cloud masterclass ended around 15 minutes ago, and this is the last class for how to configure Salesforce. The next series, which is going to be a longer one and a more deep dive one, is going to be about Salesforce Marketing Cloud, and it's starting tomorrow. If you want to register, just go to www.afdigital.com. You'll find the registration page there, and you'll be able to join that masterclass. So it's going to be divided among three of AF Digital's best marketing cloud guys. All right, let's proceed. So let's begin our last session. Now, as we proceed, I'd like to come back to where we had an issue from the last item that we talked about on Process Builder, wherein it wasn't working. So at that time, I thought there was a ghost that was playing with me. But I saw that, so when I tried to debug it, I saw where I made the mistake. So instead of correcting the mistake offline, I wanted to show how to do it in Salesforce, because process builders behave differently than workflows. So for workflows, you can just easily change it and update it, and then the effect would be the same. Would take effect immediately. For process builders, it's slightly different. Okay, so let me tell you where I made the mistake. So the process builder was supposed to run that for every time. So you go to the account and you change the billing street. Okay, in this field. So if you change the billing street, it would update the mailing street of the contacts related to the account. Excuse me. Okay. So what happened was, while I was configuring the process builder, instead of letting it be triggered by an update on the billing street, I have set it to trigger if there was an update on the billing city. So those are two different fields. So that's why even if we update the account, the billing street of the account, it does not update the contacts. Okay, so how to resolve in case you made a mistake in configuring your process builder. So you go to setup, and then you go and update your process builder. So you go quick find process builder. Okay. So it will take you to the process builder edit list of process builders. So this is the process that we have created. Okay. So here you cannot, so first you cannot update the process if it is deactivated. If it is activated, if it is active. So once you've set it to active, you can no longer do updates to it. Now, if you want to correct something like the mistake that we did here, oh, sorry, I think it's here. So if you check out the criteria for which our process builder would fire, you can see here, this is where I made the mistake. So the condition is if the billing city is changed. Okay. So we need to change this into the billing street. So what we need to do, first, we need to deactivate the process builder. So you're gonna be deactivating a particular version. Okay. Now you still can't edit this. What you need to do is to clone this process builder and create a new version. So here. So you need to save the clone as a new version of the current process, or you can save it as a new one. But for us, we just need to update the version. Okay. All right. So now we have the new version of our process builder. We just go to the decision and change this, update this to address that billing street. Okay, so it's now account billing street. So every time you update the account billing street, this should fire. Click on choose, click on save. Oops, sorry. Is change boolean true. Okay. So now we have set it. We have set the criteria for the process builder to fire whenever the account billing street is changed. So we click on save. This is the immediate action. Just make sure. So what will happen is once this fires, it will take the value of uh, uh, it will take the value of the billing street and assign it to the mailing street of our contact record under that account. Okay, click on save, and then we just activate the process builder again. Okay. So now that the latest one is activated, let's bring this back to the setup. Let me refresh this. Okay, first we check. Okay, so the billing address is 2021 Ayala Avenue. Let's check the billing details. So it's 2021 Ayala Avenue for our contact record. Okay. Let's go and update this. Say you move your office from 2021 Ayala Avenue to 234 Talino Boulevard. Okay, so now that we update the billing street, it should fire, and it should update our contact details or our contacts, and it should take effect correctly like this one. So the mailing street is now 234 Talino Boulevard for Neil Bourne and also for Andy Young. Okay, see. Okay. Now that we've gotten it to work, just wanted to step back and make sure that and uh, let you know that you've made a complicated programming uh, function that would take several scripts and different program for if you're using something like a Java platform, and you've done it in a few clicks. It's pretty powerful stuff that you've done with just a bunch of clicks. Right? Great. Next, let's talk about assignment rules, which is very helpful when we are using the Sales Cloud. Okay. So what are assignment rules? So these are rules that you can. It is used mainly for leads or cases. So it's usually sorry, assignment. So we have different assignment rules, usually done or used for leads and cases. So these are mostly, this is usually where records come in from external sources. So if you are looking at the Sales Cloud, usually when you have new leads, you have potential leads, this can come from manual entry. This can also be fed from an external system through integration. This can come from the web. This can come from a kiosk. You can probably set up a kiosk wherein when people sign up or when people fill up a bunch of fields, it comes in. For cases, usually it's for after sales. If your customers have inquiries, have complaints. So having assignment rules is very helpful if you want to segregate this. Since, for example, your sales team, you divide your sales team into maybe different geographies, different regions or states. You can also divide it by industry. Uh, so if you have certain teams specializing in particular industries, you can divide them so that when the leads come in, it would be assigned to the proper team. Okay, first, if we are to make an assignment rule, I would like to introduce the concept of having a queue. Okay, so a queue is simply uh, a queue wherein records would enter and can be assigned to queues. So records like leads and cases could either be assigned to an actual user or if you have a queue. So a queue works in wherein cases would be assigned to queues. So all members of that queue uh, can just pick up. So if you have a team that is, say, for this time, for our example here, I've created 3 queues already. It's going to support leads. So this is dividing our industry. So we can have a public sector, retail team, a technology team. So it would be assigned to queues, and then any member of that queue would be able to pick up the lead and start working on it. So how to create a queue? I'll show you an example here. You just click on the button new. Say we have a leisure team. So if you have a team that handles industries that are part of leisure, you select what objects that you can use these. For our case, we're gonna use leads. You can have an email, a group email. You can set up a group email for the queue so that if there's a new lead that comes in this queue, all the members would be informed. You need to tick this box also. For case we won't do that. And then we will have to include the queue members. So for example, these 3 users would be part of this queue. Click on save. That's how you set up a queue. Next that we have to uh, create is the rules, wherein the assignment rules on how to assign the leads in our particular queues. So we go to assignment rules for leads, and then we create an assignment rule. Here, this is a standard one. There's also, so I'm gonna show you how to create an assignment rule. So the rule, so there you can have different sets of rules, but only one at a time can be active. Okay. So say industry, uh, industry assignment rule. Okay, set it to active. Okay, so automatically, if you set it to active, the other assignment rules would be deactivated. Okay. After creating the rules, we need to enter each rule entry. Okay. So here, you need to set, so if you create a rule entry, you need to set the sort order. So if you have multiple criteria, you can sort the order in which criterion would be evaluated first. So for this one, let's say we create the first one, uh, run the rule, and say if the industry field is equals, so the industry field is a pick list. So you can select values which would belong to that leisure. So for example, we're going to assign this to the leisure queue. Say for the leisure queue, we would include all leads wherein the industry is say entertainment, food and beverage, hospitality, media, transportation, recreation. Say if a lead that comes in is part of this and one of at least one of these industries, we would assign this. So step 3, we would select the queue. So we select leisure, and then we can also assign an email template to inform them. So click on save. So that's the first rule. Okay. So it simply says that if a lead or in the industry is one of these values, it would be assigned to the leisure queue. Now we have 3 other queues. Let me add the rules for the rest. So for example, the retail. So if the industry is equal to uh, say apparel, electronics, and retail. Okay. We will assign this to the queue for retail. You can click on save and new so that you can add for the rest. Say for yes, for the next one, we can go for the technology queue, which includes say biotech, communications, engineering. We can also add machinery, technology, telecommunications. Okay. Then we assign this to a queue for technology. And then we can add another one, say for public sector. There's public, sorry, short orders for. Agriculture, education, government, healthcare, not for non-profit, utilities. Okay. Then we assign it to the technology, public sector queue. Okay. So now we have an active an assignment rule wherein based on the industry created for each of the leads, it would be assigned to particular queues. All right. So how does this work? Let's go to our sales console. Let me just refresh. So if we go to leads and then you create a new one, say Barbie. PT. So we select the industry. So if say we select apparel, then this should be, according to our rule, apparel would be part of the retail queue. Okay, so click on save. Oops. Sorry, yeah. See, GE. Okay. So this would be part of the queue that we created. So if say we go to the leads and we select the queues, say for retail. Oops, sorry. I made a little mistake. I think you have to make sure that you take assign using active assignment rules. So let me go and create another one. Okay. Okay, apparel also trends in the route. Okay. Okay, see here in the lead owner, it's assigned to the retail queue. And if we select it in the list or refresh this related list, this list view, so you see, so all your retail team members can just go to this queue and they could check out which are the new leads for this queue. And if they want to start work on it, you just have to change the owner. So you can assign it to yourself, and it will be assigned to you. So that's pretty much how your assignment rules work for leads. For cases, it's pretty much the same concept. You create a queue or you assign it, and then you create the rules or the criteria, and then you assign it to the right queue or the right person to handle your new leads or new cases. Right? Next, let me go and discuss record types. Okay, so record types in Salesforce uh, has a few number of uses. The main ones, the primary ones, is usually you need to. So record types further qualifies your object record. So for example, you could have different record types for your accounts, different record types for your contacts. You can have different record types for your opportunities. So record types. So when you think about it, usually record types are used to determine uh, different page layouts. So if say an opportunity could have different record types because uh, you want to use different page layouts depending on the record type. So you can use that. Also, another thing that's another reason why you use record types is if you want to have different sets of pick list values of the same field. So if you want to filter these values depending on certain criteria, depending on the record type, you can also do that. Do it. Uh, but if you want to say uh, just use it as a filter for a report, I don't advise using record types. I just advise using a pick list. So if you wanted to use it as a filter field, so you can also do that. Another for opportunities, you can have different record types if there are different types of opportunities that go through different sales paths. So if your industry or if your company treats uh, certain opportunities differently, like if say it's a residential customer, it goes through like 5 steps in the sales process. And if it's a non-residential, if it's industrial customer, it can go to more steps, maybe 10 steps to get the opportunity approved and closed. So you can also use record types for that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, first is how you use record types to filter the contents of your pick list fields. In order to do that, I'm gonna create two pick lists. So I'm gonna show you pick lists that will be dependent first on the record type, and then I will also show you how dependent pick list works. Meaning these are two pick list fields that are dependent on our choice, okay, on the first pick list field. So I'm just gonna show you. Okay, so let's say for opportunity object. Okay, so I'm gonna go to fields and relationships. It's gonna show me the list of fields. I'm gonna click on new. For the data type of the field, which we discussed earlier, I'm gonna select a pick list. Okay, and I'm gonna call this field as uh, say installation type. Okay, so now for the values, you can get it from a global pick list value set. We have not set any global pick list, but here you can standardize all the pick list fields. If you're going to use it for different objects, but it's going to be the same set of choices in the pick list, you can have a global value set and just use it. But you can also enter the values, choose to enter the value. Say for this one, so different types of installations, meaning it could be installed in, say, a condo, a townhouse, single detached house, industrial, or commercial complex. Uh, there are also things that you can set whether you want to display the values alphabetically or you want to use the first value as the default value. If you don't select this, the default value would be none. You can also restrict pick list values defined in this value set. This means this is ticked, these are the only 5 values that can be selected for the pick list. So if you are entering this from a UI, from the Salesforce UI, then this should not be a problem. So uh, this would only be felt if you are, say, loading data or you have an integration that tries to create opportunity records. So if this is ticked, and the value does not appear in one of these 5 choices, then the record would not be saved. Okay, so we'll tick that. This is the API name, description, help text. You can set this required. Set it as not required. So if you click on next, this is the choice which uh, which profiles will be able to see. So just make sure that system admin sees it. Click on next, and this would be shown in the different layouts. Okay, so click on save and view. So we're going to create another field which is going to be dependent on that field. So it's another pick list. We will call this one as, say, potential product. Okay. Enter values. So these are, then we're going to list a set of products that we have. So this would be, so this is the entire list of products, which would be filtered depending on what we would choose in the installation types. Say for this, say RC111 to RC113, this would be for condominium installations. Okay, same, connects, display it for everyone. Now we click on save. Okay. Now that we have created those two fields, next that we need to do is to set the field dependencies. Okay, field dependencies means these are the setting on the dependent pick list. First, we set the controlling field, this time for the installation type. And what would depend on this field is the potential product. if we click on continue, it's going to show us a matrix. Okay, our columns show the uh, different installation types, and we would just select which values would be filtered. Okay, so for condominium, it's the first three. Include these values. For townhouse, it's all the RT ones. Okay, single detached, it's these three ones. For industrial, it's this three. Include values. CX for commercial. Okay, so those that are highlighted in yellow, it means if installation type, you select condominium, you should only see the first three, this three. Select townhouse, it's this three, and so on. Okay. Oh, sorry, it should be two only. Maybe exclude this, it should be here. Okay. Okay, so we've set the field dependencies. So if we go now to our opportunity, let's read this one. Go to opportunity. Say we are creating a new opportunity. Here, these are the two fields that we have created, the installation type and the potential product. Right now, it's not showing. We cannot select the potential product because we need to select an installation type first. Say here, we have your condominium, townhouse, single detached, industrial, commercial. So if you select condominium, you'll only see this tree. So now, depending on the selection, you would have different sets of products, potential product. Okay. Now let me show you, say, depending on the record type, we would like to further classify our installation type. Say if it's residential, we can show condominium, townhouse, and single detached. And if it's non-residential, it's going to be industrial or commercial. So how to do that? So on the object manager, you go to the object. This time it's your opportunity. Now you create a record type. Okay. Next, you type the variable, say it's residential. Then you assign a sales process. Okay, we will go into that later. Okay, say we use the test one. This is active, visible for these user profiles. Apply it. You select which layout would be seen. Say, let's use this one. Whenever they select the residential opportunity record type, they would be using, they would be seeing the opportunity layout, whether they are using any of the profiles. You can also set a different layout for each profile. So the classification is you for this record type, this profile you could set different layouts. Okay, per case we'll just use it the same for all profiles. Okay, save and new. So we're creating another record type, which is our non-residential. Okay. Here, we'll set it to use the same sales process. It's going to be active, enable it for all the profiles. We'll use the opportunity layout. Click on save. Okay. So this is a typical, this is the details of the record type. Say for non-residential, it will also show you the different pick lists that are available for editing. This is where you can customize the pick list values. So what we want to see is for the installation type, if it's non-residential, we will only show industrial, and commercial. So we would remove these three values. Okay. Now let's go to the other record type, the residential, and check out the installation type. So we remove industrial and commercial. Okay. Once you've saved this, you can go back. So now the difference is if your user has access uh, to both record types. This means if you go and create a new opportunity, you will first be asked to select whether you are creating an opportunity for residential and non-residential. Okay. So one of the use of record types is you can limit the access of the record type to certain users or certain groups of users or certain user profiles. Say you have a team that handles residential and non-residential, but they don't have. So you have three teams: one residential, and one team that gets to do both. So if you limit the access to the record type, so if you're a residential only sales agent, when you come in, you won't even have to choose. You will be automatically set to the residential record type. So if you're non-residential only, you will automatically create non-residential opportunities. But if you have access to both, you get to choose. I'm using the system admin, so I have access to both, and I can get to choose. Now that we see this creation of new opportunity, installation type, it would only show the three fields that the three values that we've set for residential customers. So it lessens the human mistake in creating records. And then this is still dependent. So if it's townhouse, you get this two. If it's single detached, you get 4 different RS products. Okay. One also nifty thing is here, you see in the residential, you have pick list available. And so this supersedes your dependent pick lists. What do I mean? Meaning, if in the list of potential products, so right now we've included all values. So if you select residential, then the values would be available here. Okay. Say for the RS series, so there are 4. So 441 to 444. Say we remove 441 and not make it available for this record type. So what we did is if you select the residential record type, even if in the mapping of the dependent fields, you can already select 441 to 444. But since this record type setting for pick list supersedes that mapping, what's going to happen is once we go and select once we go and select the residential record type and installation type single detached, we should not see RS441. Let me just refresh this. Go to opportunities and create new. We select the residential opportunity. Installation type is single detached. And we will only see these 3 different potential products, 442 to 441. And that's how you can set pick list values, filter pick list values, depending on record type and depending on pick list fields. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you page layout assignment. Say you have multiple page layouts like this one or opportunities, and we have multiple record types. Here, it's going to show us the matrix of, this shows the user profiles. This shows what layouts is assigned to the user profile and the record type. So if it's a master record type, residential, non-residential. So right now, we are seeing that they're all going to see the opportunity layout. If we want to edit this, we just need to go to edit page layout assignment. Say we want this one. So if it's a custom marketing profile and a non-residential record type, we want it to use the marketing layout. So we can select for both. Okay, hold shift. Okay, it's going to change. Say for the sales, we want to use the sales layout. And for the support, we want to use the support layout. So you can do it one by one. You can do it by group by holding down shift. Then after you've updated the assignment, just click on save. Okay, so what this means is whenever you are using this profile, no matter the record type, you're going to see the same layout. So you can customize this depending on your implementation. That's the other use for record types. Next, what about sales paths? So sales path is your sales process. Say if you have different record types, say residential and non-residential, we have different sales paths. So it's going to follow a different path. We can also create those. How do you do that? So you go to sales process. In your setup, you go and create new. Say, let's call this as residential sales path. Okay, so sales path basically is your sales stages. So set of sales stages. No opportunities for this one. Open an opportunity here. So it's shown as a I don't know, bar on top of your detail page. So it shows you the different sales stages. So prospecting, qualification, needs analysis, value proposition, identify decision makers, perception analysis. I think this is the complete set of what we currently have. Proposal, quotes, negotiation, and then close. Okay. Here we can set customized sales paths for different record types. So for residential, these are the opportunity stages. This is the default. This comes with Salesforce out of the box, but this can be modified according to your company's sales process. Say if it's a residential, uh, we don't do qualification. It's prospecting. Say we don't do needs analysis. We don't know decision makers. We don't do perception analysis. So we just do prospecting, value proposition, proposal, negotiation, and then close, whether it's won or lost. Okay. Next, we create another one for non-residential. So for this one, we don't do prospecting, we just do qualification. And then we do everything else. Okay. All right. So we have two different sales processes. Now what we need to do is to assign this to record types. So just go to the opportunity record types. Go to say non-residential. Then we will edit which sales process it's using. Right now it's using tests. We will do non-residential sales process. And then for the other record type, residential, we will use the residential sales process. Okay. So now when we refresh this and we create an opportunity, Create another one for Dickinson here. So it's gonna if we choose residential, say 10 new generators. Dickinson Mobile. Include a target close date. So practically 18. Stage here, you get to select the values. So here you can already see that you can only see the certain values that we have picked when we set the sales path. Prospecting. Here you see another dependent field. So stage and probability are dependent on each other. So if we say proposal price quote, it's going to move to 75. But we can override this. So if you want to make it 73, that's also fine. Installation type, say condo, and then potential product, or say 112. So if you click on save, you would see that this opportunity, since it's residential, it will only go through 5 stages. But say if we create one from the same account, choose non-residential, click on next, say 50 generators. So here you get to see the stages. So you have different stages. Call it to best case. Station type is industrial. Oops, closed it. Okay, so you see that the sales path is also longer here. So that's how you use different sales path using different record types. Okay. Next, another very useful thing whenever you are using Salesforce Sales Cloud. I think in the first session, I mentioned that it is easier, or it is better, or as much as possible, you try to use standard objects because it comes with certain advantages out of the box. So one very good example is if you use the standard opportunity object, you get to take advantage of different features that are already present in Salesforce. Okay, and one of those is being able to uh, forecast your sales. And how to do that? So say you want to see. So what is forecasting in Salesforce? Okay, so forecasting are defined as expressions of expected sales revenue. Say you want to view your pipelines. It will help your sales teams predict and plan your sales cycles from being just part of the pipeline to being closed. It also helps manage your management expectations throughout the entire company, really. So you manage your sales expectations. In Salesforce, the forecast is based on different gross roll-ups of a set of opportunities. So you can determine this forecast amounts depending on different factors like, say, time period, forecast type, adjustments, currency. Uh, you can think of a forecast as a roll-up of in terms of opportunity amount or in terms of quantity. You can have different This is going to be against a set of dimensions like over time, over different categories, different products, or different territories. So I'm going to show you how to activate forecast. So you just have to go to your setup, go to the home, and go to forecast. Okay. One more note: if you activate your forecast as a system admin of your org, you can activate your forecast and by clicking forecast settings and uh, ticking the checkbox to enable forecast. But so it's important to know that once you've enabled this, you cannot disable it back again as easily or as straightforward. Even if you are the system administrator, you cannot do it. You need to call on Salesforce support, because if you do this, it activates certain objects, it activates certain fields that will not be easily deleted. Okay, next is after you click on this one, it would show you the rest of the settings for forecast. So you can add up to 4 forecast types. So these are how you can configure here how you want to see your forecast. So you could do by opportunity revenue. You could add different other forecast types, whether select type of measurement, is it based on revenue or is it based on quantity? And the forecast date type, you can select by close date of the opportunity, product date, or scheduled date. Here, you can also get to select which fields from the opportunity object that would be visible in the forecast. Okay. To keep this simple, we're just going to use opportunity revenue for now. Here, this is the setting whether you would allow adjustments in your forecast. Meaning, would you allow your manager to make adjustments in your forecast, or would you would you also allow the owner of the opportunities to uh, create adjustments in your forecast? Next is your cumulative forecast rollups. Okay, so for forecast rollups, uh, there are two ways. So it could be individual or it can be cumulative. So this is based on the forecast category of your opportunities. They created a slide to show this one. Okay, here. So I'm going to show you first for individual forecast rollups. This is a sample of uh, data on how you're going to see your forecast. Okay, so for individual forecast rollups, you use this typically to see at what particular stage are your opportunities. So each column or each forecast category is independent from the other. So for forecast amounts and opportunity, so you only get to see, so it only rolls up to the forecast depending on how what are the opportunities in that particular category. So here you see it's so opportunities closed. There's only one that's $50. That's why the forecast amount is 50. For commit, there are 3 opportunities that are $50 each. So it rolls up to 150. So for best case, 2 at 50, and then that rolls up to 100. And then for pipeline opportunities, we have 4 that are worth 50 each. That's why it rolls up to 200. Now for cumulative forecast roll up, so it's cumulative. Okay, so what it means is this shows cumulative value, say from closed only up to open pipeline. Okay, and it moves like this from closed to commit. Those are committed, those are best case, and those are open pipeline. So same situation. So we have one closed opportunity. That's why for closed only, it is set to $50. So for commit forecast, we have three opportunities worth 50 under this stage. And we also add the 50 from the close only. That's why the forecast amount for committed opportunities is 200. For best case, so it adds this three. So it's 50, 150, and then 100. That's why the total is 400. And for open pipeline, it adds all these opportunities. That's why the total is 450. So it allows you to see how much your potential sales are, as well as your close sales for a certain amount of time. Okay. Here, we would select to enable the cumulative rollup. And then here, you can configure the default forecast display. So you can adjust the forecasting. So what this means is first forecast period, you can do it whether it's monthly or quarterly. That's how you're going to show the classify your forecast opportunities. And then you can start with, say, up to 15 months ago to up to 15 months into the future. So we start on the current month and we display the next 6 months. This means from this month, which is April FY 2020, and then 6 months after, which is September FY 2020, that's how far we're going to see the forecast. Okay. I don't think we changed anything, so we don't need to save. Okay. So after that, what you need to do is you need to, after enabling your forecast, we would need to add the forecast tab. So how to do that? So tab is this list. Okay, so we're using the Sales Console app. We need to add it. How to do that? So you go to App Manager in your setup. Okay, you select the app you want to edit. So for us, it's going to be the Sales Console. Select Edit. It will show you the Lightning App Builder. Here, you go to Navigation Items, and then you add your Forecast tab here. Okay, so I've already added this. So it would appear here on this side, available items. Let's move it here, and then I just moved it up so that we can see easier. You can also select which profiles can view this app. So we go to the Sales Console app. Then we go and see the Forecast tab. So that allows you to see the forecast as we have set in the forecast settings in the setup. So what you're going to see here, so depending on, first you have the forecast tab. So this is, so we set it for 6 months. So it's going to show us for the next 6 months what does our pipeline look like. Since we are using cumulative, you would see that for closed only, we have 270. In the open pipeline, it adds all the opportunities that will close within the next 6 months. Also here below, you get to see for the current month, all the opportunities that are set to close. So this is defined by the close date in each of the opportunities that you are working on. So much like your visibility, so that you can assign this using your hierarchies, whether you can see only opportunities for yourself or opportunities for your entire team. Say if you are a sales lead. Okay, we have a minute left. I think that's it. I don't see any questions. Again, thank you for attending on how to configure Sales Cloud in Salesforce. Please watch out for our other Salesforce Masterclass. One is beginning tomorrow for specifically for Marketing Cloud. It's a great topic. We got a lot of great guys doing it. which you could also uh, ask different questions, the more difficult ones. So we got Paul Cheng doing it, and he is like an OG marketing cloud practitioner. So that's also very exciting. Again, thank you for your time and have a nice day.